This is the NFL Play Football Podcast, and I'm Jeff Fisher of High School Football America. The NFL celebrates youth and high school football year-round through camps, activities, NFL flag, and tackle leagues. The Play Football Initiative provides a fun and engaging experience for players of all ages and skill levels, equipping young people with key life skills that are building blocks to success on and off the field. It's Jeff Fisher from High School Football America. The tour across this great United States stops in the state of Wisconsin for the Green Bay Packers Coach of the Year. What a job he's done in just 2 years at Columbus High School. He is the Green Bay Packers Head Coach of the Year and now a finalist for the Shula Award. Andrew Selgrad is on the line to talk about winning a Division IV championship in the state this past year after a long run as an assistant. He's the head man, and boy, he set the bar pretty high on himself in the second year. He's on the line right now to talk with us. Thanks for taking the time, Coach.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, one of the things I've been doing on all of these interviews is, as much as, we're in the here and now and it's all about the award you won, I like to dial back the clock a little bit. And one of the things I found out about you as I was doing some research is you come from a pretty good coaching tree there. A gentleman that I had the pleasure of talking to maybe 10 years ago, and he's still coaching, still climbing up in the win category, Wisconsin's all-time winningest coach, Bob Hyland, at St. Mary's Springs. And I would assume that's a pretty good jumping off point to talk here about what you were able to accomplish this year. How much of Coach Hyland is in you and all the great things he's done? Have you borrowed anything from him to have all this success you're having at Columbus?
Well, I've been very fortunate to, like you said, be part of a fantastic coaching tree. Coach Hyland, I not only did I coach for him, I played for him. I was on the 95 state championship team back then. The thing about Coach Hyland is he knows how to create a program and he knows how to create a winning culture. So I really took a lot of the lessons I learned both as a coach and a player and applied it to what we've done here at Columbus. As well as like Coach Jorgensen at Fond du Lac, fantastic coach, another future Hall of Famer, Mike Ganavock, who's now at McGuanago, another fantastic coach. Steven Jorgensen, Jorgie's son, fantastic coach as well. Mike Dressler. I mean, all these guys are top-notch high school football coaches, and I've been blessed to be, under their guidance and learned so much about the game from them.
20 years as an assistant, what got you to the point where you're like, you know what, I want to put that HC whistle around my neck and see if I can run this thing by myself? When did that happen? Was it good fortune that it came calling, or was it something that was like in your brain that you wanted to do and it was the right time? When did you decide to become a head coach?
Honestly, when I was young, I thought, yeah, I can do this. But, it took a lot. It's one of those things, when you're young and dumb, you think you can do anything. So I was fortunate enough to be an assistant for 20 years, and I wouldn't change that for anything in this world. And, when this job opened at Columbus, it was right after the spring season in 21. And I saw it open, and it was a job I was interested in, 5-10 years ago when it was open back then. And I thought, let's give it a shot. Not fully expecting anything to happen. And, I was fortunate enough to get the job. And so was it a desire? Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a burning desire. I enjoyed coaching at Fond du Lac High School in Wisconsin here. But, I thought, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to give it a shot. And, they gave me my shot, and here we are.
25-2 and a state title later. Andrew Selgrad is on the grad. I knew I was going to. We joked before I rolled tape here, folks, that I heard somebody call him Selgrad, and for some reason I must have been in my brain. It's Selgrad. But anyway, Coach, sorry about that. Why don't you take a few moments here to talk a little bit about the community? One of the interviews I saw you do was you said you really wanted to move your family to a small town, and it looks like Columbus fits that somewhere. Around 5,000 people or so. Describe a little bit about the town and how football fits into the fabric of it.
Oh, this town is fantastic. The community is great. And it's about, like you said, 5,000 people. I came from a Fond du Lac High School that has over 2,000 students. So I wanted that more personal, interactive community, flavor that Columbus presents. And it's a great mix of people here. We've got farmers, we've got blue collar workers. It's a very hardworking town. And that's what attracted to me, and that's what small town football is all about. The community, everybody rallies around sports, football in particular. Once those Friday night lights hit, the community comes out in droves just to support us. And it's awesome to see just the community support everywhere. You walk through town, hey, great job. And they're right back, they're right behind you. Even when we left for state, it was cold. That bus ride we're driving through a bunch of snow, weird, right, in Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah, who'd have figured that?
the streets were lined from the high school all the way out to the major highway to get us down to Madison, with just people standing out there with signs. It was unbelievable, and it was so cool to see everybody rally around this football team. And it's been like that for years. And so that is one of the main reasons what attracted me to this community. And it's just been a huge blessing for not just myself, but my family as well. They've embraced all of us. We really, truly feel like we're part of this community.
Yeah, beautiful. I saw the championship game there, played in the snow. It was like a little snow globe there when you won the Division IV title. Andrew Selgrad is on the line. He is the Packers Coach of the Year finalist for the Shula Award. So you pay your dues, you get your shot, you take over in 21, and like I said, 2 losses in 27 games. That ain't bad. What were the magic words you said on day one when you got the program under your belt and ready to go with it?
Well, I just kind of harkened back to my own experiences as a coach and a player, an assistant coach. And we wanted to build a program, a football program, not just, a good season here and there. We wanted to instill the values that I've learned of hard work, effort, and in having sound fundamental practices in the game of football. And on top of it, one of the main priorities has always been important to me, and every coach I've coached under has said the same thing. Football is more than just a game. It's about building young men into men. It's helping them learn those life lessons and apply them beyond. One of the things I'll always remember Coach Highland say my last game as a senior is that all the things that we went through our senior year, and it was a tough season, will help prepare us for the future. And he was right in so many ways. And so it's really important to me and my staff to not only help our boys play football the right way, but also to grow as men, to be servant leaders, to reach out to those around them, to pick people up, not knock them down. And so that was one of the main objectives we had. Winning and all that kind of just falls in line if you do things the right way. Mm-hmm. So 25-2 is a great record, but I'm more proud of the fact that our boys love playing together. They love helping each other, and they've grown so much personally. And that to me is one of the biggest things.
Yeah, and your name is on this trophy, and we're going to talk a little bit about that toward the end of this interview. But the fact that you're the Coach of the Year, you're the CEO of this program, and for anybody that's been listening to all these interviews I've been doing over the last couple of weeks, I'm repeating myself, but it bears repeating because you can't get this award without assistant coaches and players, obviously. And what I always like to do around the middle of these interviews is give you the opportunity to brag on your assistants a little bit and the guys that helped you achieve what the program achieved this year, and then, of course, the award that comes as a result of that. So take a little time to wax eloquently about those guys alongside of you that helped you achieve what you did this year.
And I've said that repeatedly, that, this award is not my award. It's our award. It's the staff. You said it exactly right. This is not something that I can do by myself. And without the staff that I've had, this wouldn't be possible. When I got hired as a head coach, I got hired right at the end of June, early July, and our contact days in the summer were starting in literally 3 weeks. So I came into this job not knowing if I had a single coach next to me. My dad, Ott Selgrad, who's my OC, does a fantastic job with the linemen. Couldn't do it without him. Having my dad at my side, it makes it a very special thing. Jason Burnell, who's my DC, he also applied for the job and didn't get it, obviously, but I asked him to say, hey, I need you. And he said yes. He answered the call, and he does a fantastic job with our kids. He's a fantastic teacher in our school district, and he's become a really good friend of mine, and that's been a blessing. Chris Hirschleb, who does our special teams and wide receivers, having a special teams coach as talented as Chris is such a godsend. It's unbelievable. Just the amount of, stress that he takes off my plate by just taking over the special teams. He says, "Hey, I've got it." He does a fantastic job with the kids. The kids love him, and he's just a fantastic football coach. Again, he was one of the originals that came with me. I think he might have been the first person I called last summer when I first got the job. And, he said, "Yeah, I'm on board. I want in." And so he's been just fantastic. Nick Venden, who's our quarterback coach, works with my dad a lot. Again, knows so much about football, works well with the kids, and is just a great personality on our staff. Even when in stressful times, he makes me laugh, and he's just a card, and I just really appreciate having him on staff as well. List goes on. Juan Guerrero, he does our JV1, and he does a fantastic job with those young men, helping coach the line on the offensive side and the defensive side. Bryce Galston does our running backs and our outside linebackers, does a great job with that, really starting to learn the game and how the things work together. He's a young coach, and he's doing a fantastic job with that. Will Stormer was our new hire this year on our staff, does our strength and conditioning program, brings a lot of energy to everybody, does a fantastic job with our D-line. I can't imagine not having on our staff. Marcus Hensler does our DBs. He really stepped up this year. I asked him, "Hey, I drew up all the plays both for passing and running for our scout plays." And I said, "I need help, man. I need somebody to do the passing play, so it's a little bit less." And he said, "I'll absolutely do it." And he did a fantastic job with it. Does a really good job with our JVs as well. Let me think here.
Make sure we get everybody in. We don't want anybody getting mad at you or me.
Nope, I've made that mistake before. I've got so many coaches here that I just appreciate and make sure everyone's here.
Yeah.
So we're probably gonna have to edit this a little bit.
Well, we'll figure it out. Let me look here on the Packers thing. If we missed him, Tim Stormer. Did we get Tim in there?
Right.
Okay.
Nope, Tim. Yeah. So we got Noah Cook, who is also a volunteer coach for us, did a fantastic job with our outside linebackers. Connor Graffin works with our freshman team, also with our defensive line. He was one of my original coaches. Does a great job with the kids, very personable, and does exactly what you need to do. See here. I think that might be everybody.
I think you got all the names in there. If not, if one comes to you,
I think I got them.
There you go. If not, apologies in advance is what I always say.
There is one more coach. There is one more coach though, Tegan Hirschleb, and Tegan came on. He volunteered. I said, "Hey, I'll see if I can get you some money." He said, "I don't want money. I just want to be around football."
Oh, neat.
And this young man is so intelligent and so smart with football. He honestly, just like every coach that I had, everyone I've listed so far, he steps up and does exactly what's asked of him and more. And that's why I'm so blessed, and Tim Stormer, he helps us on Friday nights. He's our baseball coach here too as well. And Tim, he doesn't have time to coach during the week, but he loves coming on Friday nights to help us out in the booth. And, those are the little things that the staff does for you. And I've been so blessed and fortunate to have guys say, "Just call on me and I'll do what you need me to do." And that's why we're successful. It's the people around us that are supporting our football program that enables a 25-2 run.
Yeah, no doubt. It's the beauty of high school football, those guys that just want to be a part of something, right? Andrew Selgrad is on the line, the Packers Coach of the Year, Columbus High School in Wisconsin. Coach, we were talking earlier about, your 20-year time as an assistant, and my question to you is this: what did you learn during that time as an assistant, and how have you used that as now the HC to make sure that your assistants have exactly what you feel from all that 20 years of experience they should have? Does that make sense, that question?
Oh, absolutely. You know, early on in my career, I remember this. I was just hired on for the varsity staff at St. Mary Springs in Fond du Lac under Bob Hyland. And the DC at the time was Sean O'Laughlin. And so I was working with the defensive backs at that time, and I was really good with X's and O's, really good. And so I thought I was a pretty good coach. Sean called me into his office one day and said, you know, you're really good with the X's and O's. He says, but you don't know how to coach. Huh. And I was kind of taken aback by that. And at first I hurt feelings a little bit, you know, not going to lie. And he went on to explain, he said, it's more than X's and O's. You got to explain the hows and the whys. It's not just this. You got to know why we're doing it and how we're going to do it in order to teach it properly. And so when I sat back and reflected on that, it actually did make a lot of sense. X's and O's, that you could draw stuff up all day. But if you don't have a why or a how, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. And so it was really important, you know, and that's what I learned as an assistant coach is do more listening, less talking, and just absorb the information from those around you. And really listen to your players as well. And so that's really important because if they don't understand something, it doesn't matter how it's drawn up. No doubt. They won't be able to do it.
Yeah.
And so it was really – go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's a very important lesson to learn, and I love the way you put that. That's why I was saying, you know, somebody that's had that much time as an assistant, you got to know something that impacted you that you want to try and fix so it doesn't happen again with your own staff. As we said before, it is a partnership award here. We talked about the assistant coaches. I wish I could get every one of your players' names in here. So what I've been doing with all the coaches is just say, okay, you know, who are your captains? Who are some of the other guys we can get in here that led to that state championship? It was, you got revenge, right? In 21, you lost in the state semis to Catholic Memorial, yep. And I know that program is a very strong program in your state. You beat them in the snow with a late kick as well. So let's get some of the kids' names in there and what they did for this program this year.
No, you did fantastic. Our captain, our two main captains this year were Colin Selk, who played both O-line and D-line for us, and Nathan Cotter, who was our quarterback. Two senior veteran leaders that really took the reins of our team. Colin was the heart and soul of our football team, emotional leader. He's a kid I could really lean on, especially when things were, you know, a little bit challenging here and there. Colton Burnell, fantastic running back on both. He plays linebacker as well. Milani Aragon played middle linebacker for us. Fantastic football player as well. Played with intensity and ferocity all the time. Brady Link played safety for us. Did a great job. Tough kid and just loves the game of football. Really smart, very cerebral. Riley Knockreiner, other safety, did a fantastic job. Aaron Eckern and Braxton Knockreiner are two bookend corners that just shut everybody down. Jefferson Mulberry played both sides of the ball. Fantastic. Brady Engel, Jamison Sullivan, Devin McCormick, and RJ Gross, all fantastic football players, you know, really led this football team. And one of the kids that I really want to give a shout out to is Oliver Seth. Strange thing was we didn't really have a fullback position for all conference to vote on. So he didn't get any kind of recognition. Oh. But that kid, man, he's 5'6", all of that, and he played his heart out. I mean, this is a kid kicking out overhangs and linemen that are, you know, 2-3 times his size, and that kid just played his heart out. And you know, this success would not have been possible without him.
Glad you could get his name in there. Coach Andrew Selgrad is on the line. The Packers, Coach of the Year, finalist for the Shula Award, and we're at that point why we're chatting here, which is you did win this award, and we're gonna start it off by the question of, you know, what does it mean for you that the NFL, and specifically in your state, the Green Bay Packers, are reaching down into the roots of the game at the high school and the youth level?
It's so important, you know. The game of football is the greatest game ever created. And to have the support from the NFL, from the Green Bay Packers all the way down, it means a lot because, on two folds, really. One for the support and two for the safety aspect. Because we want to make sure this game is played for a long time. We want to make sure kids come and enjoy it and really love the game. And we also want to make sure they're playing safe. And so having that partnership between us and the NFL is a huge critical piece because we want to make sure everybody's healthy. We want to make sure everyone's enjoying it. And so with that partnership, I think that puts the message out that everybody's in this together. We're trying to progress with the game, and we're trying to make sure everyone out there who wants to play the game can play the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt about that. And you've kind of touched on some of these things, but I'm going to, as a media person, I got to ask the obvious question. What does it mean to you personally to have your name on this award this year?
It's humbling. It really is. You don't go into this business, this profession, looking for personal accolades. You do it because you enjoy coaching the game. You enjoy it coaching young men, and you enjoy the camaraderie that comes along with football. So to be voted on and to be recognized like this, it means a lot. It means that, our program is doing the things the right way. And to be recognized, that is just a statement for the community of Columbus, our high school, our players, and our coaches. And so I just hope I can represent them in a way that makes them proud.
Yeah. And the last question, I've asked this to everyone. Selgrad, Shula. It's in the same sentence. You heard me say it several times throughout this interview. It's a fun question. What comes to your mind when you hear your name and the greatest NFL coach of all time in the same sentence?
Honestly, it's mind-blowing just to have that in the same sentence. I mean, Coach Shula, I remember watching him as a kid and just watching the way the Dolphins played and all that, the way he handled himself. There's some fantastic coaches, coaching legends from that era, and to be part of that history is just unbelievably humbling and mind-boggling, and nothing you could even really dream of because it's so out there. And so to be considered with Don Shula is just unbelievable.
Yeah, I think everybody's at a loss for words when I ask that question, but it's fun to see how everybody reacts to it. Well, Coach, congratulations on the award. Best of luck when the finalists, the two finalists are named, or the awards are handed out, I should say. But more importantly, thank you for what you do for kids, and you've done for a long, long time, helping student athletes there in the state of Wisconsin. We appreciate what you do, and we also appreciate you taking the time to shed a little bit of light on the Columbus community there and the football program and everything that you're building. So best of luck coming up in 2023, but thank you for taking the time.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
That's the NFL Play Football Podcast. Coaches, don't forget to check out playfootball.nfl.com for some great resources to help you improve in the coaching profession. I'm Jeff Fisher of High School Football America, and you've been listening to the NFL Play Football Podcast.